Hello everyone, this is the Magic Master, and welcome to a video on the Beginner's Guide, and I messed up my desktop again, so give me 2 seconds and I'll fix that. There we go. So this is a game I know literally nothing about. It was on sale on Steam and I bought it, and that is literally all I know about it. So here we go. We're just gonna hit begin, and hopefully it'll all make sense as we play. I don't have a preface, because I literally don't know what this game is. Okay, shall we begin? We shall. Oh, it glitched out. Not a good start. In fact, I would argue that is a very bad start. Now my mouse is glitching out. Oh, now I can hear it, but I can't see it.
Hey there. Thank you very much for playing.
Hello?
I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game...
Okay, let me try and close this. Just relaunch this, because that kind of glitched out for some reason. Welcome to the great planning that goes into our videos. Not only is this video more than 3 hours late, because I just didn't have time to film in the last week. Happy New Year, by the way. But it doesn't even work when I do film. So this is just going up, and then hopefully next week the video will be on time. Okay, here we go. Let's try beginning again, shall we? My audio is indeed on. Controls, WASD, and mouse pad. Makes sense.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide.
I wonder if I can put subtitles on. I can. Okay, here we go.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So
Sorry, I'm just trying to make this work. Wait, you can turn off the sound quality. Okay. I apologize, I can't seem to make it work, so you're just gonna have to get...
Just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com.
Wow,
Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game.
Okay.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
November 2008. Here we go. Let us begin. Oh, look at this. Nice room, pretty basic, but you know, basic rooms can be nice. Let's head on inside, I suppose. Oh, warning. Whisper machine size activation.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Something tells me this is probably a horror game, which isn't great. We don't do horror games.
You can
on the
click
channel.
to fire the gun.
Security call reached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Uh-oh.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You
There's no
can't
bad
even
guys.
reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Okay.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship
Cross.
evacuation.
Oh, we can go through that.
I love how you can see the bottom
Carry
of the universe from this room.
Ha, so you can. Okay, please open as we walk. It's quite interesting. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but so far, been very good. Oh, is this a maze?
Apparently
I may
the
have to
space
adopt.
station has a labyrinth on it.
I may have to adopt your statement.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Ah, thank you very much.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
Uh-oh.
The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off,
Okay.
and then you get to the engine room.
Which I guess is where we are. Oh yeah, so it is.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all.
How?
That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
I guess you're supposed to, so let's do it.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Yeah.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
I'm back here again. Do I go back in? Whoa, I'm floating. Oh, I see. So that's what's actually supposed to... So what actually happens is you're supposed to
The
die.
beam
What actually happens
causes
is
you to
float.
start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but
it's
what's
so
clear
clever.
is that after making this, something lodges
Look at
itself
that
in his
labyrinth.
brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. Moving on, we're still in November 2008. Oh. The past was behind her. Can I walk?
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh, that's annoying. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I need to keep going straight. Oh,
So it's a short
Future
and
machine.
relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. This is so interesting. Like, I'm surprised, it's just like a series of other games, but the future is always behind her. Well, that's, interesting. How will she find the strength? Well, to confront it.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Yeah, this is the guy who made the Stanley Parable, not Coda, but this guy was something about, oh no. Definite horror vibes to that again. I don't know, what I was saying is, this is the guy, the person speaking, not Coda, but he's the person who made the Stanley Parable, which I also got on a Steam sale, and maybe we'll play in the future. I haven't really decided yet. So it might come up on the, I'll play it, but I don't know if it'll show up on the channel. So maybe you will see some of that. We will find out. Anyway, I suppose we've stalled enough with the intro of the video, so I will get back to it. I'm very worried about this. Can I walk forwards again? Very worried about a jump scare here. You are now entering... It's creeping me out a little bit. Onward ho, I suppose. Oh no.
And that's it.
Oh.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay, that was literally just walking straight through a hall. Now we're in December, so we've moved on a month.
Oftentimes, Coda would
Nonsense
put
and
bizarre
new
titles
production.
like this one at the start of his games.
Whoa, hello.
I wish I'd known him at the
upstairs.
time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Okay. So that game is confusing, but this one looks interesting enough. We're climbing up a stair. Oh. Uh-oh.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all?
That's a fair
Well,
point.
to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, that's better. Now I can actually walk. It's a room. Whoa. Start exploring until you realize you can just walk through the walls. Okay, make collect items at the game.
A
Oh,
room that's warm
game ideas.
and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Game generation is happening. A series of lavish manuals comes with the game, giving you incorrect instructions on how to play.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant.
The instructor of all
He
the
said that
walls,
he knew that he was
manual.
actually a vibrant and compassionate person,
Instruction
but that it
use
takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
A key in one game unlocks a door in a completely separate game. That's a cool idea. The key game. Idea. You could walk around talking to them. Oh, okay, we're moving on to January 2009. I wonder if these games are like real. Ready, set, fish. Huh, it's a bit. So I guess this is the one we can just walk through the doors, or no, it just opens for you. It reminds me a bit of like a car park, I guess. You know? As we carry onwards. What's up here? Oh,
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
well, I mean, it would appear that what you do is flick the lever. Oh, and then it's misty in here. Intriguing. Do we step inside? Oh, then this, I bet when you... Huh, this is an actual puzzle. It's not as easy as I thought. Okay, well, let's open this. I wonder if we can just like... Huh. Do I go up here? No. Do I go down here? No, do I just click on the door? No, do I hit the lever through the door? Click it. Click it, run through. Aha, did it. And then this one.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
I'm gonna see this puzzle again. That was actually quite good. That was fun. Good job, Coda, the game designer. I'm very impressed with your game design. Okay, where are we going now? Into here. Can we close this door? No.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
Yeah.
Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay, here we go. Enter. Whoa. There's a whole place here.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
Yeah.
I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea.
Do they?
So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
Yeah.
Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player.
Yeah.
So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Don't know. Oh, we're still in January. Oh, well this looks strangely familiar. Still worried it's gonna jump scare me. You are now exiting. Oh.
Aha. So this
is different.
combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in,
one
some
can
larger
definitely walk
meaning
around
that
for
we
a
won't
long
be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
In March now, we've jumped through February. Guess he didn't make anything in February. Still in 2009, The Lovely and Great Descent. Oh, well, hello. There appears to be a house down there that I guess we're supposed to go and find, so let's go down there. See what the house has to offer.
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
Okay.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The Streetwise Fall.
To make all of these games...
Sorry, I know I keep pausing it. I hope you like this different style of commentary, by the way, because I've just noticed now that I'm not speaking much this episode, you know, there's a couple lines here and there, but mainly it's him, so hopefully this is okay. Bit different. You're probably glad not having to hear my voice as much, but oh well. Shall we continue? I apologize for interrupting.
Coda is using an engine called Source.
Source, okay.
Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors.
I like this.
That's why so
building.
many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Oh, look at this.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative
jump?
work
We
they're
can't.
going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Oh, I missed. Shoot. Oh, I don't fail though, I just end up down here, which is where I was going anyway. Makes the whole exercise seem rather pointless, honestly. Anything up here? Oh. I heard a noise. And there's this corridor. Oh no, I'm locked in. Music's crescendoing. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going up. This started in like a nice restaurant. How did we end up here? Okay, we can't go that way, so we can't go that way. Oh, we go this way. Oh.
This prison Funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Oh my god.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
I appreciate that. Oh, I'm going back down.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else.
Huh.
Believe me, I played
Clever.
every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
It's just 100 empty boxes. Why would he? What point is he trying to make? As we go further down. Actually, I know it's annoying because we're halfway through a level, but we are 20 minutes through and I am late at getting this out already. So I am going to end the video here. But never fear, next week we're going to be back with this, more of this. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you all Monday. Hopefully again, I hope the style of video was okay. I didn't talk as much, but hopefully that's okay. But that is all the time we have today. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, Team Challenge. I feel like this commentary was lackluster. Even though I didn't speak much. Still lackluster. Just got one. Okay, bye guys.